Today we're looking at the Loophole Expert Advisor by Vladimir. So this video is sponsored by our free Golden Time Bomb Expert Advisor. Take your trading to the next level through automating the London breakout and the opening range breakout. Click the link in the description to download the EA completely for free. So this gentleman has been pumping out bots like crazy this past year, and many of them were very popular briefly before ultimately failing. So I'm curious to see if this one is new, if it's different, and if there's a viable strategy behind it. So he initially came out with the Prismal Gold Scalper earlier on in the year, and it was at the top of the MQL5 marketplace for a few weeks, and people were buying it left, right, and center, and were seemingly rather pleased with it. But then gold had a lot of price action changing as soon as the tariff madness started happening, and many people lost a lot of money with this bot. I had clients who were also sending me screenshots of what he was saying, and apparently he was claiming that because so many people had bought the bot that the gold market had changed in response to it, which I thought was kind of hilarious because it's such a silly excuse that people using your bot would somehow change the price action of gold. But regardless, it didn't do too well. So now we're seeing that he's back with this thing, which is Loophole. And if we look at it kind of similar to his previous ones, we have an incredibly high returning asset. And similar to what I mentioned the first time, Leverate is a white label provider of software, not a broker. So it seems like he always starts off with Leverate or maybe even a different provider so that he can manipulate the signal and give himself a super high result. And then he also probably runs a few other ones on, I don't know, let's say IC Markets or whatnot, or that's a Leverate one too, just to kind of build himself a fake track record. So once again, this is not a good sign. The fact that he always has certain things going, and you know what, my guess would be if we go to look at the ones which are not doing as well, they're probably running on a real broker. Nope, they're all on Leverate. Okay, that's really not a good sign. I'm trying to find one that's running on Blueberry. Here we go. So this is at least one real one, and this looks like maybe a little bit more normal. But all the ones that have like the crazy returns and the beautiful equity curves, they're all running on a technology provider, which is kind of odd, right? You'd expect to see a real broker there. So, so far pretty sketchy. It's running on NZDCAD, this one, the new Loophole bot, and it requires hedging. So this is most likely a grid martingale bot with an equity stop loss, just because we can clearly see that we have some detachments in the equity in the balance line. It uses RSI and CCI as its primary indicators, so it's probably a mean reversion bot that usually pairs with a grid. And because we're also trading a very mean reverting pair, I would not be surprised at all if it's running more of a grid style. And yeah, that's what it looks like to me. And this is obviously fake, right? Like we would expect to see significantly more detachments. Down here, we are seeing a detachment in the equity in the balance line. So that's a good sign of maybe a little bit less manipulation. But the fact that it happens so infrequently over so many months, I would think that there's probably a bit of cherry picking going on. Just my hypothesis here. And yeah, clearly it's a grid. We're seeing many trades closing at the same time. And if we run ourselves a back test here, I ran it on the NZDCAD. Let's zoom out to the H1. I'm going to see if I can find us a grid. I'm not seeing, here we go. So 1, 2, 1, 2. So there is some averaging in. And now if we look at the deals, are we seeing some scaling? There's not a tremendous amount of scaling, so it might not be a proper martingale. It might just be more of a grid system. And it's holding a lot of losers because we're seeing all of these positions which are kind of crisscrossing with each other. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of equity stop loss in here too, because we're seeing these big kind of drops. Lot size, max spread, trading days, fixed lot. I'm just trying to see if there's an equity stop loss in there. Oh, may you enjoy abundant earnings. That's nice. Sounds like a fortune cookie. So yeah, we're hitting it. This might actually be just because we're holding so many positions that the swaps are eating into it. But I'm curious, actually. Let's run a visual back test to see if we can glean anything else. Yeah, so clearly there's some sort of greater averaging mechanism here because we're opening many positions at once. but we are actually hitting the stop loss, which is a pretty good sign. Yeah. And we're not necessarily averaging, like it seems to be pretty consistent in terms of size. They are entering in with multiple positions. Okay, so there's a little bit of grid action, but it's not a pure grid. So yeah, there's something fishy going on here. This guy also, I just wouldn't trust him because he keeps rug pulling the community. So probably not the best bet to buy any bots from him because you don't know what the actual performance is like because the signals are likely fake. There's some sort of holding losers going on here. Nothing crazy, but at least it's not appearing to be an overly aggressive martingale. So it probably is one of the safer ones. It looks manipulated, but we're not seeing like crazy averaging in or crazy holding of losers or too much grid. So it's not that bad, but still I just wouldn't trust the guy. And it looks almost too good, the results in terms of what exactly we're seeing. We're also not seeing indicators running per se, but I wouldn't be surprised if we just hard coded it. So yeah, my takeaway is probably not a very good bot. It looks less bad than the previous ones, but I still would likely stay away just because something smells off. The signals are weird. It's using likely some sort of averaging in strategy, and it looks a little bit manipulated. So guys, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.